Ladies and gentlemen, kindly settle down as the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation's 2024 Annual General Membership Meeting will begin in a few minutes. Please be informed that PEMC will be taking photographs and videos for documentation purposes. These will be stored securely by PEMC and Spark Media Incorporated until such purpose is attained or the retention period as mandated by PEMC's Information Security and Documented Information Policy has lapsed. Your video and audio may also be recorded. By continuing to stay in this event, you consent to the documentation. For any questions, feel free to contact us at pemc.info@wesm.ph and or the Data Privacy Officer at dpo@wesm.ph. Thank you.
Thank you for showing up today for the Electricity Market Exchange 2023. It is very heartwarming to see you all here physically present, eager to reconnect with colleagues, friends, and together we all learn about resiliency in a dynamic energy market.
Pleasant day to everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's energy market exchanges. The officers of PEMC, maraming salamat po.
Changes will continue to take place. We will continue to be adjusting to new technologies, to new circumstances, and to new ways of doing things. I look forward, therefore, to cooperation with you so that we can indeed move forward. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.
The distinguished guests and participants of today's EMX. Again, a pleasant, wonderful morning. So again, I'm Carlo Vega from First Gen.
So magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. First, we would like to thank you for joining us in this year's Electricity Market Exchanges. It has been a while since we've done this very important event face-to-face. The significance of this show is how we, as an industry, along with the economy, have markedly recovered from a disastrous worldwide pandemic.
The energy transition has an overarching goal. The energy transition is thinking about reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the 2024 PEMC Annual General Membership Meeting. This event is an annual gathering of PEMC member companies represented by the heads of the organizations or their authorized representatives with the objective of bringing together all PEMC members. In the discussions that will take place today, we shall also be providing updates on PEMC's current corporate situation. As we officially start, may we request everyone to stand as we come together in prayer to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of knowledge and peace. Thank you for the joys, triumphs, and challenges that mold us today. Thank you for this community that you have allowed us to be part of. May this gathering enlighten all the participants that have come today, and may you remind us all that we are united as one in mission and in faith. May this opportunity bring us closer to one another as we sustain our purpose and continuously make a difference as one nation. We lift up to you all our endeavors for this organization. We thank you in advance for the guidance of the Holy Spirit in all decisions that we will make in the future. We pray for the grace to speak words of encouragement and love towards our colleagues. We implore you to keep us safe and steadfast for the coming grace that awaits us. We pray for an open mind, much more a clarity of heart of what is in store for us. We lift up to you today's discussions as we entrust to your will. May all our efforts and hard work contribute to the mission that you have entrusted us with. All these we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, kaya sa sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyagan ang magiting, sa
You may now be seated. We shall now call on stage the PEM Board for our 2024 Annual General Membership Meeting. Our PEM Board for our 2024 Annual General Membership Meeting. Director Victor Emmanuel Santos Jr. Director Jose Ronald Valles. Director Juan Eugenio Rojas. Director Jesus Aranza. Director Elenita Go. Chairman Noel Ababoto. President Elvin Hayes Nidea. Director Richard Nethercott. Director Ronald Dylan Concepcion. Director Jovel Ubay Ubay. Director Alan Laniba. Attorney Kate Aubrey Ohilia. Good afternoon and welcome to the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation's 2024 Annual General Membership Meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now begin the meeting proper. This year's AGMM will be presided by the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Corporation. Please welcome PEM Board Chairman, Mr. Noel Ababoto.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, fellow directors, officers, and members and guests. Welcome to this year's Annual General Membership Meeting. As Chairman of the Board of Directors of PEMC, I officially call the 2024 Annual General Membership Meeting to order. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I welcome you, fellow members, to this meeting. Please let me take this opportunity to sincerely thank each and every one of you for the trust and confidence and the chance to take on this task of being your chairman for the past couple of years. It has been nothing short of challenging, but with your and the PEMC's management support, it has been a very productive and rewarding experience. I have the honor to introduce you the members of the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation Board of Directors, or the PEM Board, who serve for the calendar year 2021 to 2024. In addition to myself, the members of the PEM Board present today are the independent directors, Attorney Elvin Hayes Nidea, the President of the Corporation. Director Jesus Aranza. For the generation sector, Director Elinita Go, the Treasurer of the Corporation. Director Juan Eugenio Rojas. Director Victor Emmanuel Santos Jr. For the distribution sector, Director Alan Laniba, Director Jovel Ubayubay, Director Jose Ronald Valles. For the system operator, Director Ronald Lilan Concepcion. For the market operator, Director Richard Nethercott. Well, unfortunately, Director Denel Aboitis and Director Roel Castro cannot join us today due to conflict and schedule. Director Castro is represented today by Mr. Neil Parcon. Next, I'd like to introduce to you the members of the PEMC's Executive Leadership Team. Attorney Kate Aubrey Huhilia, our Corporate Secretary. Attorney Andrea Hoson Mindiola, our Chief Legal Officer. Mr. Herbie Ngirngir, our Chief Financial Officer. Mr. Bienvenido Mendoza, Jr., our Chief Market Assessment Officer. Attorney Hazel Gabaton Lopez, our Chief Enforcement and Compliance Officer. Ms. Elaine de Guzman Gonzalez, our Chief Internal Auditor Officer. And Mr. Patrick Fernandez, our Chief Information System and Communications Technology Officer. The managers of PEMC are enumerated and shown on the screen. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the chairpersons of the WESM and REM governance committees, namely the Compliance Committee, Chair Dr. Peter Yu, Dispute Resolution Administrator, Attorney Teodoro Calao, Market Surveillance Committee, Attorney Doroteo Aguila, PEM Audit Committee, Engineer Francisco Ludegario Castro, the REM Governance Committee, our own Director, Jesus Aranza, Rules Change Committee, Attorney Jesusito Moralios, and Technical Committee, Engineer Mario Pangilinan. We will now proceed with the certification of notices and determination of quorum. May I call our Corporate Secretary, who will establish that this annual general membership meeting has been duly called and that quorum is present for this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The PEM Board fixed May 17, 2024 as the closing date for the books of the corporation for determining members entitled to vote and/or participate at this meeting. As of closing date, there are 373 sectoral members in good standing with a total of 8,169,957 voting rights. The notice was duly published in the corporation's website at www.wesm.ph on May 29, 2024. Likewise, the same had been sent via electronic mail to the addresses on record of duly appointed authorized representatives or their delegated proxies. The rationale and explanation for each agenda item which required the sectoral members' approval were also provided in the notice. The sectoral members were likewise required to register their intent to participate and vote via remote communication prior to the scheduled AGMM. I report that the number of members who are in attendance, including those who exercise their voting rights, consists of 134 sectoral members with a total of 5,355,347 voting rights, or 65.55% of the total voting rights held by sectoral members. In accordance with the bylaws of the corporation, majority of the total voting rights of all sectoral members in good standing shall constitute quorum. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I report that we have in attendance the number of members with voting rights which satisfy the quorum requirement provided in the bylaws for effective resolution of the proposals to be presented to this AGMM.
Thank you, Madam Corporate Secretary. Based on the report of the Corporate Secretary, as chairman of this meeting, I find that the proper notice has been given that a quorum is present. Accordingly, the annual general membership meeting has been properly convened. I will now turn to the formal agenda of today's meeting. The notice of the meeting and the accompanying explanation and rationale outline the businesses that will be considered today. Ms. Corporate Secretary, in brief, could you please state the business of this meeting?
As stated in the notices sent to each sectoral member, the business of the meeting includes, first, the approval of the minutes of the annual general membership meeting held in 2023 as presented in proposed resolution number 1. Second is the reporting of the management of the key achievements and milestones of PEMC and a clear picture of how PEMC reached its goals in 2023. Third will be the report of the chairman on his vision and aspirations for 2024 and the coming years. Fourth will be the ratification of the acts, deeds, and resolutions of the board and management since the annual general membership meeting held on June 21, 2023, as presented in proposed resolution number 2. Fifth is the approval of the 2023 audited financial statements of PEMC for fiscal year ending on December 31, 2023, and the report on the financials of the corporation as presented in proposed resolution number 3. Sixth is the ratification and/or approval of the appointment of external auditor tasked to prepare the annual audited financial statements of PEMC as presented in proposed resolution number 4. And lastly, seventh, the election of the directors for PEMC for calendar years 2024 to 2027 as presented in proposed resolution number 5.
Were there any proposals for the business of this meeting properly filed with you as the Corporate Secretary by the members?
There is none, Mr. Chairman. As of June 7, 2024, the close of our registration, there was no nomination or proposal for agenda or any additional business filed with the Office of the Corporate Secretary.
Since no member nominations or proposals were properly filed with PEMC's Office of the Corporate Secretary in advance of this meeting, as provided in the organizational informational provided to the members, the order of business shall be as so stated earlier and as so outlined in the notices of this meeting. Likewise, for clarity, let me outline the format of today's meeting. Each agenda shall be reported or stated. Thereafter, the floor will be open for discussion or comments and questions with any member may have concerning the particular agenda. The PEM Board and the management or the WESM and the REM governance committee representatives will respond to the questions which may be submitted. The members will have a minute to submit such via the options provided at the start of this meeting. After the completion of each discussion, the management's proposed resolution, if applicable, shall be read and the votes taken shall be reported by the Corporate Secretary to the members. As each resolution is tabled, a slide will show the results of the voting on the screen. Ms. Corporate Secretary, kindly state for the record the rules of the conduct and the procedure that we must follow in the AGMM.
As this is a meeting of PEMC members, only authorized representatives of the sectoral members or their duly appointed proxies are entitled to make comments or ask questions. All other attendees are welcome as observers. Following the guidelines, the members, through their duly authorized representatives or proxies, will be given the opportunity to ask questions or make comments to the directors, officers, and members of the management. Anyone who has questions or comments is encouraged to raise them at the time when such report or resolution is being considered in the meeting. Mr. Chairman, let me report that no written questions from members were received prior to this meeting, but nevertheless, at any time, you may ask, as the chairman of this meeting, to make comments or questions. And for those asking questions, please state your name and the sectoral member you are representing before asking your questions. I shall read the questions or comments received by means of Viber or electronic mail and those entered via Slido. And to address as many questions as possible, each person is allowed only to ask up to 2 questions. Now, the board may refrain from explaining any matter that is outside the scope of its accountability, including any question unrelated to the matter at hand at this annual general membership meeting. Also, any question that is deemed that the giving of explanation would significantly damage the common interest of the members. Any question that requires an investigation to answer, and any question for which the giving of explanation would infringe upon the rights of PEMC or any other person. If, due to time constraints, there are questions which could not be entertained, PEMC officers will duly reply after the meeting through electronic mail or other modes of communication as may be warranted. Lastly, the chairman may waive or allow exceptions to the foregoing rules if, in his judgment, he deems it necessary or proper under the circumstances.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. Now, may I call now our Chief Legal Officer, Attorney Andrea Hossa Mindiola, to explain the voting procedures.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. Please allow me to explain the voting procedure according to PEMC's bylaws. Members in good standing as of May 17, 2024, may exercise their voting rights on the agenda items through electronic voting and online voting. This is through the sectoral members' duly appointed authorized representative or appointed or delegated proxy. Please be advised that the chairman of the meeting, in accordance with the terms of the participation and voting intent registration, signed and agreed upon, in cases where he was appointed as proxy with discretion to vote as proxy holder, or if there is failure to cast the votes prior to closing, voted in favor of all resolutions passed. Upon registration, PEMC's sectoral members are entitled to vote in accordance with their voting rights, which are equivalent to the number of votes they can cast during the meeting. Voting rights are not constant and are determined at the start of every meeting. In determining the voting factor, the voting factor is determined by multiplying the number of members in each sector. These are the generation, distribution, transmission, and supply. And the product thereof shall result in the voting factor. The resulting voting factor shall be the total number of voting rights for each sector and shall be allocated amongst the members of the sector. To calculate the voting rights of the generation sectoral members, we obtain the total capacity in megawatts of the power plants registered in the WESM by each of the generation companies registered as PEMC member, as reflected in the Certificate of Compliance issued by the Energy Regulatory Commission, or this is called the total megawatts. We divide the megawatts of the registered power plants of the PEMC member by the total megawatts to get the member's megawatt quotient. We multiply the megawatt quotient of each member with the voting factor to get the voting rights of the member, rounded off to the nearest one. To calculate the voting rights of distribution utilities that are not electric cooperatives, we first obtain a total number of customers served by all members under this subsector, as determined based on the latest document submitted to the ERC, or the total customer. We divide the number of customers of each member with the total customers to get the member's customer quotient. We multiply the customer quotient with the voting factor of the subsector to get the member's voting rights, rounded off to the nearest one. To calculate the voting rights of the electric cooperatives, we first obtain the total number of sectoral members under this subsector. We divide the voting factor of this subsector equally amongst all the members of this subsector. To calculate the voting rights of the transmission sectoral member, the voting factor is divided equally amongst all the PEMC members under this sector to get the voting rights of each member. To calculate the voting rights of the supply sectoral members, the voting factor is divided equally amongst all the PEMC members under the sector to determine the voting rights of each member. The bylaws of PEMC provides that majority of the voting rights of those present and voting shall constitute a valid corporate act. Thank you again and good afternoon.
Now, we will conduct the formal businesses as set forth in the notice of the meeting. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the 2023 Annual General Membership Meeting held on June 21, 2023. A copy of the minutes was sent to the addresses of record of the authorized representatives or duly appointed proxies of the sectoral members. I will now ask the Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The management is proposing the adoption of Resolution Number 2024-01 for the approval of the minutes of the Annual General Membership Meeting held on June 21, 2023. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Are there any comments or questions from the members? If any member, through its authorized representative or delegated proxy, has questions or comments specifically relating to the minutes, please submit the same through the modes provided earlier.
Ms. Corporate Secretary, please allow a minute for the members to submit the questions and comments which you may read aloud for discussion. Ms. Corporate Secretary, did you get any questions?
Mr. Chairman, we did not receive questions on this matter.
If there are no further discussions, may I hear from the Corporate Secretary the report on the vote taken?
On the voting results, I am pleased to report that we have received and tabulated the following votes as validated by our auditor for this year's AGMM, SGV and Company, whose representatives are also present today. Kindly stand to be acknowledged. For those in favor of the proposed resolution, 133 of members voting, or 5,354,828 voting rights, or 99.99% of the voting rights of those present and voting. For those against the resolution, 0 of members voting, or 0% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those who abstained, 1 of members voting, or 519 voting rights, or 0.01% of the voting rights of those present and voting. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, with members owning more than the majority of the voting rights of those present and voting, having voted for the motion has been approved, and the resolution number 2024-01 has been adopted.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you the President of the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation, Attorney Elvin Hayes Nidea, to present an update on the operations and management of the corporation.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, fellow members of the board. To all the stakeholders, good afternoon. Over the past 3 years, the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation has successfully implemented initiatives aimed at enhancing market transparency, promoting competition, and ensuring the reliability of our power supply. Through the introduction of innovative market mechanisms and the continuous improvement of market rules, PEMC has fostered a dynamic and competitive marketplace that benefits both consumers and industry stakeholders. PEMC has played a pivotal role in advancing renewable energy integration and sustainability initiatives across the Philippines. With the establishment of the renewable energy market, PEMC facilitated the issuance of renewable energy certificates, the REC, the basic commodity of this new compliance market. As of date, 27,214,237 RECs from various compliance mechanisms were issued to mandated participants for their compliance with their obligations based on the Renewable Portfolio Standards rules. Designated as the Interim Renewable Energy Registrar, it has facilitated the registration of 279 participants and provided participant support, awareness activities, assistance to the REM Governance Committee, and other tasks as mandated by the Department of Energy in its Department Circular number 2022-06-0019. In fact, on April 30, 2024, REM Asia awarded PEMC as one of the outstanding organizations that has significant contribution in the acceleration of the development of green power in Asia. This is a culmination of the role of PEMC as we transition to turn over the RE registrar function to IMAP. PEMC shall remain as chairperson of the REM Governance Committee. Given that the committee is represented by different sectors, the RGC has extended their expertise by providing recommendations to address various issues raised by market participants, such as the absence of a policy for non-RPS eligible RE facilities to also earn RECs, and lack of guidance whether they may be allowed to register in other REC registries outside REM, among others. PEMC has played a crucial role in the development and expansion of the electricity market in the Philippines. It has continuously worked to enhance market mechanisms, rules, and regulations to adapt to the evolving needs of the industry and ensure the smooth functioning of the WESM. PEMC, as the governance arm of the WESM, ensures the full compliance of the trading participants with the reserve offer capacity compliance and reserve conformance standards in accordance with the applicable rules and manuals. PEMC maintains its watchful eye on the WESM's growth, particularly with the addition of Mindanao into the market. As it inculcates to the new members the culture of compliance in the WESM, PEMC constantly provides seminars and company-requested on-premises orientation to the members to ensure that the compliance officers are fully compliant with the market rules and manual. PEMC has demonstrated exemplary governance of the WESM through its various governance committees, with each report passes through our Chief Governance Officer and affirmed by the PEM Board, thereby ensuring all stakeholders and our consumers that the WESM is consistently fair, transparent, and competitive in all respect. Allow me to brag with reasonable calibration the noticeable achievements of these governance committees. The Market Surveillance Committee regularly conducted periodic assessment of the market through the publication of the Market Assessment and Overriding Constraints, reports for WESM, and the Retail Assessment Report, which include the Retail Competition and Open Access and the Green Energy Option Program. As part of its monitoring functions, the MSC reviews any unusual market outcomes and submits corresponding review reports on market intervention, suspension events, and other reports, as well as ad hoc studies, such as the general outage modeling, the viability of the financial transmission rights. In 2023, the MSC led the Electricity Market Exchanges, EMX, under the theme Resiliency in a Dynamic Energy Market, which featured insightful discussions with industry leaders
and the generation sector and regulatory bodies, policymakers, and experts from other jurisdictions. To promote a healthy competition, the committee likewise initiated the development of a monitoring framework and parameters for detecting possible anti-competitive behavior, ACB, with the assistance of a third-party consultant. The establishment of the Compliance Committee, or the CC, in 2021 paved the way for further strengthening of the culture of compliance in the WESM. Since it was established in 2021 until the end of 2023, the Compliance Committee has deliberated and resolved a total of 205 investigation reports, 4,115 cases of probable breach of the WESM rules and market manuals, as well as resolved appeal on the ECO's resolution and the request for reconsideration. Significantly, the CC performed its oversight function in the review of the pending investigations for the Zero Backlog project that helped further expedite ECO's accurate, efficient, and truncated process. The Rules Change Committee poured their expertise in the deliberations on the development of rules to operationalize such far-reaching market initiatives as the Enhanced WESM Design and Operations in 2021, Green Energy Options Program 2021 and 2022, the Reserve Market 2021, 2022, and 2023, the Renewable Energy Resources as Preferential Dispatch 2022 and 2023. The RCC encouraged efforts to reinforce the governance of the WESM on various fronts through enhancing procedures of the WESM governance committees regarding dispute resolution, rules change, market surveillance, and market performance. Strengthening the enforcement and compliance processes was also facilitated by processing rules changes related to matters on WCO Accreditation Program 2021, Penalty Framework for Test and Commissioning 2022, monitoring of forecast accuracy standards and considerations for submitting and revising market offers 2023. Likewise, the RCC had in-depth deliberations on operations-related rules changes regarding meter data validation timelines 2021 and 2022, market resource modeling and monitoring 2021, registration, deregistration, and cessation procedures 2021, accounting of bilateral contracts in settlement 2021, additional compensation calculation and recovery process 2022, compensation of generators awaiting certificate of compliance following completion of test and commissioning 2022, and system operator procedures during market intervention suspension 2023. The Technical Committee has continued to perform its mandate under the WESM rules by sharing its expertise and assistance to the PEM Board, other WESM governance committees, and government agencies such as the Department of Energy and the Energy Regulatory Commission. Given the TC's new composition with representatives from various sectors, the committee has comprehensively provided studies, analyses, proposed solutions, and recommendations to improve the WESM's efficiency and effectiveness. Aside from the TC's responsibilities under the WESM rules, the ERC has recognized the committee's knowledge on grid operation, planning, and development by assigning the TC as core members of the Interim Grid Management Committee, IGMC. The IGMC was constituted by ERC on 3 May 2023 to act and perform limited functions as provided under the Philippine Grid Code until such time that the ERC constitutes a permanent GMC. Since then, the TC, as the IGMC, has conducted various reviews as regards significant grid-related incidents. In accordance with the WESM rules and manuals, the PEM Audit Committee, or PAC, continued to administer from 2021 to 2023 several audits on market operations, market systems and tools, and net settlement surplus, net settlement deficit. Likewise, the PAC continued the review of the metering installations and arrangements for the WESM, while also monitoring the performance of the market operator and the metering services providers. As we reflect on the achievements of the past 3 years, let us look ahead with optimism and determination. The challenges facing our energy sector are complex and multifaceted, but PEMC will always perform its governance function with goal neutrality and impartiality. With our tireless dedication and unwavering commitment, PEMC always maintained its modest achievement in the realm of governance in the power industry. PEMC has been at the forefront of driving innovation, efficiency, and sustainability within the Philippine electricity market. Allow me to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the entire PEMC team for their outstanding accomplishments and unwavering dedication. Your hard work and perseverance have made a profound impact on the Philippine electricity market, as we have always been a significant contributor in our nation's aspiration for an electrified and sustainable future. Let me end by informing everyone that PEMC has been awarded the new ISO certificates for Quality Management System QMS or ISO 9001-2015 and Information Security Management, the ISMS, or ISO 27001-2022. These certificates attest that PEMC established and maintains an effective system to ensure compliance with its policy and objectives in providing governance to the WESM and the Secretariat Support Services to the REM governance committees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Dea. There is no vote to be taken on the report, but members do have the opportunity to ask questions or give comments. Madam Secretary, were there any questions or comments posted before, submitted, or emailed on the report of the President?
None as of this time, Mr. Chairman.
If there are no questions, we now close the discussion and proceed to the next item on the agenda. Fellow members, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat uli. And allow me to deliver my message this afternoon. The Philippine Electricity Market Corporation is a global leader in transparency, reliability, and efficiency. It may be ambitious, but this is achievable. I believe that by overseeing a robust WESM and REM through the effective and efficient governance, we can create a stable and attractive environment for investors, encourage innovation, and ultimately benefit the consumers. To realize this vision, we will focus on 3 key goals. First, we will strive to provide a reliable and transparent WESM and REM through the effective and efficient governance. This will involve promoting a culture of compliance, enhancing compliance, monitoring, and implementing effective market design and mechanism. We will ensure also that the availability of the adequate support of PEMC Board of Directors, the PEM Board, and the committees and provide accurate and updated market information to all stakeholders. By fostering strong working relationship with partner institutions, agencies, and service providers, we aim to create responsive market rules and manuals and efficiently administer dispute resolution processes. Ensuring consumer empowerment by allowing them to choose electricity providers based on preferences like pricing and sustainability is my vision for the ARCOA. It revolves around fostering a dynamic and competitive environment to benefit consumers, promote innovation, and drive efficiency. It emphasizes creating market efficiency through fair competition among multiple providers, driving down prices, and encouraging innovation. Our second goal is to support initiatives and programs for the energy sector through compliance with policy and regulatory directives. We will prioritize the efficient operation of REM and continue market development initiatives. The operationalization of the reserves market pursuant to policy and regulatory directives is also a key priority. By strengthening our coordination and compliance with the requirements of the legislative bodies, promoting the integration of renewable energy sources, establishing transparent regulations, capacity building, Stakeholder engagement and international collaboration are also key components of this goal. Lastly, we will strive to achieve organizational excellence and operational efficiency. This will involve securing regulatory approval of the WESM and REM transaction market fees, improving efficiency in PEMC's internal corporate transactions, and enhancing our IT systems and infrastructure. We will ensure compliance with internal business procedures, legal requirements, and other corporate requirements, and set clear corporate targets and performance measures by continuously improving the delivery of services to both internal and external clients and maintaining a rationalized, highly competent, and self-driven workforce. We aim to sustain our integrated management system certifications for both the Information System Management System and the Quality Management System. As we work towards these goals, I envision a future where PEMC is not only a model for the region, but also a catalyst for economic growth and development. By providing a stable and reliable electricity supply, we can attract investments, create jobs, and improve the quality of life for all Filipinos. I'm excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. Just recently, the Department of Energy has given a go signal to draft the rules for the WESM for Palawan and in Mindoro, which we hope to do it by the end of the year. I am confident that with your support and collaboration, we can turn this vision into a reality. I am one with PEMC in creating vibrant and competitive ecosystem, delivering affordable, reliable, and sustainable electricity and services to all consumers. At this point, before I close, I would like to acknowledge also the support given to us by the DOE Secretary Popo Lutilia, and of course the Health of PRC Chairperson Mona Lisa Dimalanta. Together, ladies and gentlemen, let us build a brighter and more sustainable future for PEMC and the energy sector. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Madam Secretary, were there questions posted or emailed to you on this report?
Mr. Chairman, we did not receive any questions on this matter.
If there are no questions, we now close the discussion and proceed to the next item on the agenda. Next on the agenda is the ratification and approval of the acts, resolutions, and deeds of the Board of Directors, its committees, and the management of the corporation since the annual general membership meeting held on 21st of June, 2023. We will be glad to answer any questions which the members may have concerning the actions of the PEM Board and the management. Are there any questions? Please submit your questions via Slido or the Viber or email to the OCS. Madam Secretary, did we receive any questions on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, as of this time, we have not received any questions on this matter.
If there are no questions, we now close the discussion. President Dea is to read the management proposal, and the Corporate Secretary will share the vote taken on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, the management is proposing the adoption of Resolution Number 2024-02 for the ratification of the acts, resolutions, and deeds of the Board of Directors and the management crucial to the successful performance of PEMC in 2023. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Resolved that all acts, resolutions, and deeds of the Board of Directors and management of the corporation from the annual general membership meeting held on 21 June 2023 up to the date of this meeting be as they hereby are confirmed, ratified, and approved. This is for the ratification of the members.
Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that we have received and tabulated the following votes as validated by the auditor for this year's AGMM, SGV and Company. For those in favor of the resolution, 133 of members voting, or 5,354,828 voting rights, or 99.99% of the voting rights of those present and voting. For those against the resolution, 0 of members voting, or 0% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those who abstained, 1 of members voting, or 519 voting rights, or 0.01% of the voting rights of those present and voting. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, with members owning a majority of the voting rights of those present and voting, having voted for the motion has been approved and resolution number 2024-02 has been adopted.
We will now then proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is a report of the corporation's financials for the previous year and for the approval of the corporation's audited financial statement for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2023. PEMC's Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Herbie Ngiringer, shall deliver and present to the membership the 2023 PEMC Financial Report.
Good afternoon, everyone. RG Manabat and Company, or KPMG Philippines, PEMC's external auditor, expresses that the company's financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position as of December 31, 2023, its financial performance, and its cash flows for the year then ended, in accordance with the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards, or the PFRS. The statement of assets, liabilities, and fund balance show that PEMC's total assets in 2023 decreased by 104.34 million pesos. This is mainly attributable to the company's total current assets, which had a significant decrease, particularly in the cash and cash equivalents amounting to 270.58 million pesos. The net cash used in the company's operating activities amounted to 248.51 million pesos. In addition, lease liability payments of 12.28 million and the purchase of capital assets amounting to 10.33 million were made during the year. Further, during 2023, PEMC and IMAP agreed to defer the remittance the PEMC's share in the market fees due to the insufficiency of the interim relief granted by the ERC. It is apparent that the lack of cash inflow from the collection of PEMC's share in the market fees contributed to the decrease in the cash and cash equivalents, but this also resulted in an increase in the market fees and other receivables amounting to 151.2 million pesos. On the other hand, total liabilities decreased by 23.41 million during the year. Total liabilities and fund balance as of December 31, 2023 is 471.6 million pesos. On the statement of revenues and expenses, total revenues in 2023 amounted to 205.12 million pesos, which increased by 43.75 million pesos in comparison to 2022. The increase is attributed to the higher interim relief granted by the ERC. With this increase, total expenses also increased by 39.86 million. The increase is mainly attributable to the 8th MO audit and the 4th ARMIA conducted during the year. As a result, PEMC ended year 2023 with excess of expenses over revenue amounting to 92.04 million pesos. Thank you and good afternoon.
Before proceeding to the management proposed resolution, may I know if there are any questions or comments concerning the financial affairs of PEMC? Ms. Corporate Secretary, was there any member who submitted a comment or question on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, we did not receive any questions on this matter.
If there are no questions, we now close the discussion. Director Jesus Aranza of the PEM Board Audit Committee is to read the management proposal, and the Corporate Secretary will share the vote taken on this matter.
Una sa lahat, magandang hapon po sa inyo. Salamat sa inyong pagdalo at nakapagpulong sa taunang pagpupulong ng PEMC. Mr. Chairman, as Chair of the PEM Board Audit Committee, we received and reviewed the 2023 audited financial statement of PEMC for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2023. Accordingly, the management is proposing the adoption of Resolution Number 2024-03 for the approval of the audited financial statement of PEMC for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2023. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Resolved that the financial report and audited financial statements of the corporation for calendar year 2023 are hereby confirmed, ratified, and approved. This is to be ratified by the members. Thank you very much. At ulitin po, salamat sa inyong pagdalo.
Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that we have received and tabulated the following votes as validated by our auditor for this year's AGMM, SGV and Company. For those in favor of the proposed resolution, 126 of members voting, or 5,272,634 voting rights, or 98.46% of the voting rights of those present and voting. For those against the proposed resolution, 0 of members voting, or 0% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those who abstained, 8 of members voting, or 82,713 voting rights, or 1.54% of the voting rights of those present and voting. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, with members owning more than the majority of the voting rights of those present and voting, having voted for the motion has been approved, and proposed resolution number 2024-03 has been adopted.
Thank you, Madam Corporate Secretary. We will now proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the ratification or approval of the appointment of the external auditor tasked to prepare the annual audited financial statements of PEMC upon the favorable recommendation of the PEM Board Audit Committee. PEMC's Senior Manager for Financial Planning and Accounting Services, Mr. Simon Isidore Tan, shall present to the membership the background and qualifications of the proposed external auditor.
Good afternoon, everyone. The external auditors of the company's financial statements for the year 2023, RG Manabat and Company, is the Philippine member firm of the KPMG network of independent member firms affiliated with the KPMG International Cooperative, a Swiss entity. KPMG belongs to the global Big Four accounting and auditing firms. RG Manabat and Company has been recognized as the fastest growing member firm of the KPMG in the Asia-Pacific region, with the firm's audit practice being one of the fastest growing audit practice of KPMG in the region. The firm was given recognition by the International Tax Review as a Tier 1 tax practice, Tier 1 transfer pricing practice, Tier 1 leading tax transactional firm, and the National Transfer Pricing Firm in the Philippines in 2016. They provide audit services including financial statements audit, attestation services, prospective reporting, regulatory audit, and accounting advice. The firm also provides tax compliance review and advisory services such as management consulting, risk consulting, deal advisory, and IT advisory. Thank you everyone, and good afternoon.
Thank you. Before proceeding to the management proposed resolution, may I know if there are any questions or comments concerning the proposal to approve the appointment of RG Manabat and Company or KPMG Philippines? Ms. Corporate Secretary, any member who submitted a comment or question on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, as of this time, we did not receive any questions on this matter.
If there are no questions, now we close the discussion. Director Alan Aniba of the PEM Board Audit Committee is to read the management proposal, and the Corporate Secretary will share the vote taken on this matter.
Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, as member of the PEM Board Audit Committee, we received and reviewed the proposal to approve the appointment of RG Manabat and Company, or KPMG Philippines, as the external auditor of PEMC. Accordingly, the management is proposing the adoption of Resolution Number 2024-04 for the approval of appointment of RG Manabat and Company, or KPMG Philippines, as the external auditor of PEMC from the year 2023. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Resolved that RG Manabat and Company, KPMG Philippines, be and is hereby appointed as external auditor of the corporation from the year 2023. This is for the ratification of the members.
Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that we have received and tabulated the following votes as validated by our auditor for this year's AGMM, SGV and Company. For those in favor of the proposed resolution, 124 of members voting, or 5,265,443 voting rights, or 98.32% of the voting rights of those present and voting. For those against the resolution, 0 of members voting, or 0% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those who abstained, 10 of members voting, or 89,904 voting rights, or 1.68% of the voting rights of those present and voting. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, with members owning more than the majority of the voting rights of those present and voting having voted for the motion has been approved, and resolution number 2024-04 has been adopted.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. We will now proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the election of the Board of Directors for calendar year 2024 to 2027. Fellow members, the bylaws of PEMC provide that directors shall be voted upon at large, with sectoral members casting their votes in accordance with their number of voting rights, and the nominees with the highest number of votes obtained shall become directors. The list of nominees was sent out to the members at least 30 days prior to this AGMM on the 20th of May this year, as required by our bylaws. For the members' guidance, the composition of the PEM Board shall be in accordance with the following criteria. Each sector of the electric power industry shall be represented in the PEM Board. The number of representatives of each sector of the Philippine power electric industry shall be such that no one sector of the electricity can dominate proceedings or decision-making by the PEM Board, and be selected in such a way that deadlocks in decision-making processes should be avoided. And there should be sufficient independent directors appointed to the PEM Board of Directors to balance the number of directors representing the Philippine electric power industry. The PEM Board shall consist of 1 director representing the market operator, 1 director representing the system operator, 4 directors who are nominated by WESM members registered as distribution utilities, provided that 2 of these directors are representatives of and nominated by electric cooperatives, and 2 of those directors are representatives and are nominated by distribution utilities which are not electric cooperatives. 1 director which is a representative of and nominated by customers, including but not limited to suppliers. 4 directors who are representatives of and nominated by the generation companies, and 4 directors who are independent of the Philippine electric power industry and the government, not eligible to be appointed as representative under the groups mentioned earlier and nominated by WESM members. The directors elected shall hold their office for a term of 3 years until their until their successors are duly elected and qualified. Ms. Corporate Secretary, please present the results of the election of the Board of Directors for the calendar year 2024 to 2027.
Mr. Chairman, the following nominees obtained the highest number of votes as flashed on the screen and as validated by our auditor for this year's AGMM, SGV and Company. Jose Ronald Valles garnered 5,292,025 votes, or 98.82% of members voting. Richard J. Nethercott garnered 5,284,917 votes, or 98.68% of members voting. Noel V. Abuboto garnered 5,238,209 votes, or 97.81% of members voting. Juan Eugenio L. Rojas garnered 5,182,073 votes, or 96.76% of members voting. Elenita D. Go garnered 5,174,488 votes, or 96.62% of members voting. Ronald Dylan P. Concepcion garnered 5,168,839 votes, or 96.52% of members voting. Victor Emmanuel B. Santos Jr. garnered 5,139,794 votes, or 95.97% of members voting. Jovel B. Ubay-Ubay garnered 5,138,108 votes, or 95.94% of members voting. Danelle C. Aboitiz garnered 5,126,300 votes, or 95.72% of members voting. Alan L. Laniba garnered 5,107,322 votes, or 95.37% of members voting. Elvin Reyes E. Nedea garnered 5,080,956 votes, or 94.88% of members voting. Augusto D. Sarmiento garnered 5,056,865 votes, or 94.43% of members voting. Jesus L. Aranza garnered 4,298,001 votes, or 80.26% of members voting. Antero Jose M. Caganda garnered 3,948,655 votes, or 73.73% of members voting. And Vicente C. Sioson garnered 2,802,856 votes, or 52.34% of members voting.
Ms. Corporate Secretary, did we receive any questions on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, as of this time, we have not received any questions for this matter.
If there are no questions, please read the proposed resolution on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, given the results of the election, resolution number 2024-05 for the election of the Board of Directors for calendar years 2024 to 2027 is hereby adopted. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Resolved that the members of the corporation hereby elect the following individuals as directors of the corporation. For the market operator, Richard J. Nethercott. For the system operator, Ronald Dylan P. Concepcion. For the private distribution utilities, Jose Ronald V. Valles. Augusto D. Sarmiento. For the electric cooperatives, Jovel B. Ubay-Ubay. And Alan L. Leniba. For the supply sector, Noel V. Aboboto. For the generation sector, Juan Eugenio L. Rojas. Elenita D. Go. Victor Emmanuel B. Santos Jr. And Danelle C. Aboitiz. For the independent directors, Elvin Hayes E. Nedea. Jesus L. Aranza. Antero Jose M. Caganda. And Vicente C. Shoson.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. Join me, ladies and gentlemen, in congratulating the newly elected members of the corporation's board of directors. Ms. Corporate Secretary, are there other questions raised by our members which are yet to be addressed by the board and the management?
There are no questions received as of this time, Mr. Chairman.
There are no questions which could be, if there are no questions which could not be entertained, please email them to PEMC.events@wesm.ph so our officers may duly reply after the meeting through electronic mail or other modes of communication as it may be warranted. Ms. Corporate Secretary, is there any other business to consider on this meeting?
Mr. Chairman, based on the agenda, there are no other items to consider in this meeting.
As there is no further business, this concludes the formal proceedings and I thank you again for attending. I now declare the 2024 Annual General Membership Meeting of the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation closed. Members may raise any concerns or questions regarding the meeting by sending an email to our Corporate Secretary at PEMC@wesm.ph within 2 weeks. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat for your continued trust and support, and we wish you all continued good health in the coming years. I look forward to a productive term. Rest assured that I am one with you in building a brighter and more sustainable future for PEMC and the energy sector. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Ladies and gentlemen, this officially concludes the 2024 PEMC Annual General Membership Meeting. May we request all board members to please stand and compress on stage for our annual photo op. Thank you. from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, we thank you for joining us in this significant gathering. We hope that today's discussions brought enlightenment to each and everyone. And before you go, we encourage everyone to please accomplish the PEMC transactional survey by scanning the QR code flashed on screen or the printouts on your tables. This survey helps us to improve and excel through your amazing feedback. Also, our buffet tables are now open. We may invite everyone to grab some snacks and drinks as we get to know each other better during our networking socials. Once again, thank you for attending PEMC's annual general membership meeting. We hope to see you again next year as we mark more of PEMC's milestones. Enjoy the rest of your day.